working in your leadership and on your leadership. One of the most popular conversations I end up having with people in leadership is around working in their leadership and on their leadership. What I mean by in their leadership is busy doing the operational stuff, which is often about managing and firefighting and just doing the day-to-day stuff that needs doing. And often what is most valuable is to actually shift into more what I call working on their leadership, which is to look at, what needs to happen in the future? What's the most strategic thing to be able to do? How do they get to play to their strengths more and more? So let me give you a couple of examples. One COO I was working with, we worked together for about 2 or 3 years, and a lot of our conversations to start with were about operational stuff that he was having challenges with. But then I said, what is it that you can add most value to your company doing? And it was a really great question. He said, what, the best thing I can do for my company is think strategically about where we're going next. And that is what he was brilliant at, and yet he was spending so little of his time thinking strategically about the business. There was about 70 people in the business, and the plan was to sell the business in a couple of years' time. And as we had more of these kind of conversations, he said to me, the most important thing I can actually do is not to be busy, is to take a few hours out every week and think about where we need to be in a couple of years' time and how we can get there in the most elegant and efficient manner so that we can sell the company and do well. So he started taking more time out to work on his leadership and on strategy, and then bring that back to his fellow directors, and it worked. They sold the company and they did very well. Another example is an investor that I worked with for a number of years. When we started working together, he was very much focused on the short term, what was happening in the markets on a day-to-day basis and reacting to things very much. So he was probably working kind of 30% on his leadership and 70% in his leadership and just kind of managing day to day. And by the end of our work together, he'd almost swapped it the other way around. He was working 70% on his business and 30% in his business. But as a result of that, he has now won all sorts of awards for being a top European investor and all sorts, because he shifted the amount of time he spent thinking about long-term strategy. Where did he want to be in a couple of years' time? And one of his big insights was, actually, I'm a long-term investor. I'm not a short-term investor. So actually the things I do today often do on a day-to-day basis actually undermine my success, not create it. So I think taking time to work on your leadership, to think and plan strategically, are important. They're essential to your success. So if you'd like to have a conversation about being more strategic and being an investor in time and energy on working on your leadership and not just in it, I'd love to have that conversation with you. I love those conversations. I can probably add a lot of value. So drop me a line, nick@iamnickwilliams.com, nick@iamnickwilliams.com, and we'll arrange to have a conversation. Have a good day. Bye-bye.